Prophet Joseph was a man of unwavering faith. He faced extraordinary trials in his life, yet he never lost hope. He remained devoted to God. His story is a beacon for all who seek inspiration. Joseph's life offers profound lessons in resilience, forgiveness, and the power of faith. Joseph was dearly loved by his father Jacob. He was gifted with prophetic dreams. These dreams foreshadowed his future greatness. However, this favoritism ignited jealousy in his brothers. They resented Joseph's dreams and his special status. Blinded by envy, Joseph's brothers plotted against him. They could not bear to see him favored. They decided to get rid of him. They wanted him gone. The brothers seized Joseph. They threw him into a deep well. They left him there to die. Joseph was alone, afraid and uncertain of his fate. Yet even in this desperate situation he clung to hope. He knew God was with him. As fate would have it, a caravan passed by the well. The brothers saw an opportunity. They pulled Joseph out of the well. Then they sold him into slavery. The caravan traders took Joseph to Egypt. Joseph was now far from home, a stranger in a foreign land. His trials were just beginning. In Egypt, Joseph was sold to Potiphar. Potiphar was a wealthy and influential official. He served as the captain of Pharaoh's guards. Joseph, despite his circumstances, remained diligent and trustworthy. He found favor in Potiphar's eyes. Joseph was soon placed in a position of authority. He was tasked with managing Potiphar's household. Despite this newfound stability, Joseph's faith would be tested once more. He was a handsome young man. Potiphar's wife was attracted to him. She tried to seduce him. Joseph, however, remained resolute. He refused to betray the trust that Potiphar had placed in him. Most importantly, he refused to disobey God. Potiphar's wife was enraged by Joseph's rejection. She accused him of assault. Her lies were believed. Joseph was thrown into prison. He was unjustly condemned. He had done nothing wrong. Yet he found himself once again in a dark and desperate place. Through these trials and tribulations, Joseph's faith never wavered. He knew that God was with him. He believed that God would deliver him. Joseph remained patient and steadfast in his belief. His resilience and piety did not go unnoticed. They earned him the respect of his fellow prisoners and the prison warden. In prison, Joseph encountered two of Pharaoh's servants. These men, the cupbearer and the baker, had been thrown into the same prison as Joseph, each for offending Pharaoh in some way. They were troubled by vivid dreams that seemed to hold significant meanings. Each night, their dreams grew more intense and perplexing, leaving them in a state of constant anxiety. Joseph, noticing their distress, offered to listen to their dreams. He had always been attentive and compassionate, traits that made him a trusted confidant even in the harsh conditions of the prison. As he listened, Joseph realized that he could interpret them. This realization was profound, as it was a divine gift bestowed upon him by God. He had been blessed by God with the gift of dream interpretation, a rare and powerful ability that could reveal the future and provide guidance. Joseph told the cupbearer that his dream signified a return to Pharaoh's favor. The cupbearer would be restored to his position, serving Pharaoh once again. The baker, however, received a grim prediction. Joseph interpreted his dream to mean that he would be executed by Pharaoh. His dream foreshadowed his execution. Joseph's interpretations proved accurate, as events unfolded exactly as he had predicted. The cupbearer was pardoned and restored to his position, just as Joseph had said. The baker, on the other hand, was executed. Years passed, and Joseph remained imprisoned, his gift of dream interpretation known only to a few. Then, Pharaoh himself had a series of disturbing dreams. These dreams were so vivid and troubling that they left Pharaoh deeply unsettled. No one in Pharaoh's court could interpret them. The advisors and wise men were baffled, unable to provide any insight. It was then that the cupbearer remembered Joseph. He told Pharaoh about Joseph's extraordinary gift. Pharaoh, desperate for answers, summoned Joseph to the court, hoping that he could provide the much-needed interpretation of his dreams. Joseph was brought before Pharaoh. The air was thick with anticipation as the court awaited his interpretation. He listened intently to Pharaoh's dreams, absorbing every detail. With divine inspiration guiding him, he felt a profound understanding dawn upon him. He knew what the dreams meant. They were not just ordinary dreams but messages from the divine, foretelling the future of Egypt. Joseph prophesied that Egypt would experience 7 years of abundance. The land would yield plentiful harvests and prosperity would reign. However, this would be followed by 7 years of severe famine. The once fertile fields would turn barren, and scarcity would grip the nation. He advised Pharaoh to appoint a wise and capable administrator. This person would need to be diligent and foresighted, someone who could plan for the future. This administrator should oversee the storage of grain during the years of plenty. By doing so, they would create reserves to sustain the population during the lean years. This would ensure Egypt's survival during the years of famine. The granaries would be filled to the brim, a testament to careful planning and foresight. Pharaoh was deeply impressed by Joseph's wisdom. He saw the clarity and truth in Joseph's words, recognizing the divine insight behind them. He recognized the truth in Joseph's words. The Pharaoh's thoughtful face reflected his realization of the gravity of the situation and the brilliance of Joseph's plan. He saw in Joseph a man of God. The divine aura around Joseph was unmistakable, and Pharaoh knew he had found someone truly special. Pharaoh appointed Joseph as his vizier. This was a position of immense power and responsibility, second only to Pharaoh himself. Joseph was now the second most powerful man in Egypt. Clad in fine Egyptian clothing and holding a scepter, he stood proudly next to Pharaoh. He was entrusted with the welfare of the entire nation. Joseph oversaw the construction of granaries and addressed the workers, ensuring that Egypt would be prepared for the future. The famine that Joseph predicted came to pass. It was a time of great hardship and suffering, as the land that once flourished with abundance now lay barren and desolate. The famine spread far and wide, reaching not only the lands of Egypt, but also extending to Joseph's homeland of Canaan. The once fertile fields were now dry and cracked, and the people were desperate for relief. Driven by hunger and the hope of survival, Joseph's brothers embarked on a long and arduous journey to Egypt. They traveled through the harsh desert, their bodies weary and their spirits low, seeking the sustenance that Egypt could provide. Upon their arrival at the grand palace of Egypt, they were unaware that the powerful man they sought help from was their very own brother Joseph, whom they had sold into slavery many years before. Joseph, now a man of great authority and wisdom, recognized his brothers instantly. His heart was filled with a mix of emotions as he saw the faces of those who had betrayed him. The brothers, however, did not recognize him. They bowed before him, seeking mercy and food. Joseph decided to test his brothers to see if they had changed over the years. He wanted to know if their hearts had softened, if they had learned from their past mistakes. He devised a plan to test their integrity and loyalty. Joseph accused them of being spies, a charge that struck fear into their hearts. They pleaded their innocence, explaining their dire situation and their need for food. To prove their honesty, Joseph demanded that they bring their youngest brother Benjamin to Egypt. This request filled them with dread, as they knew the pain it would cause their father. Joseph longed to see his beloved brother Benjamin again. The memories of his family and his past flooded his mind, and he yearned for a reunion. The brothers returned to Egypt with Benjamin, their hearts heavy with anxiety. They hoped that this act would prove their sincerity and secure the food they desperately needed. In a dramatic and emotional moment, Joseph finally revealed his true identity to his brothers. They were astonished and overwhelmed with shock and disbelief. Filled with remorse for their past actions, the brothers begged for Joseph's forgiveness. They realized the gravity of their betrayal and the pain they had caused. Joseph, with a heart full of compassion and understanding, forgave his brothers. He saw the hand of God in his journey, recognizing that their betrayal had led to a greater purpose. Joseph brought his entire family to Egypt, ensuring that they would be safe and well provided for. The reunion was filled with joy and relief as the family was finally together again. He provided them with land and sustenance, transforming their lives from one of desperation to one of abundance and security. Joseph took great care to ensure their safety and well-being, overseeing their needs and making sure they were comfortable in their new home. This act of forgiveness and compassion was a testament to Joseph's unwavering faith and his noble character. His journey from betrayal to power, and his ability to forgive, stands as a powerful example of resilience, faith, and the transformative power of love and forgiveness.